Question.
Yeah.
I just have one question. Schwartz and Saban, specifically Schwartz. How is he counted as a Belichick hire? Because I think he was only running video. He was like a video guy with the Browns. That was it. He wasn't really a coordinator with the Browns. For Saban, he was a defensive back coach, but again, that was the Browns. That was a failed attempt. I don't know if you really consider him as
Jim
a tree.
Schwartz was a coach.
No, Jim Schwartz just ran video for them. That's all he did. He wasn't a coordinator or anything.
Head coach?
He was quality control.
I went out on a take and said that I think, to me, because I don't think people account for Tom Brady's success under these coaches, because Bill Belichick is looking kind of sus. Byron Leftwich is looking kind of sus. I think Mike Tomlin right now is the best coach. I think he's a better coach out of him and Bill Belichick. I'm not trying to disrespect the guy, but if this dude can win with Mason Rudolph, Mitch Trubisky, Ben Roethlisberger that should have retired 2 years ago and still is 500 on the season. Hey, what is Bill Belichick's record over the last 2 seasons? Does anybody know?
Hey, I don't know if you can disrespect Bill like that.
What did they win? 10 games last year to get into the playoffs?
He took that team to the playoffs, bro, and a lot of people didn't see them making the playoffs, bro.
And then got absolutely demolished.
Hold on.
I get that, but
a lot of people did see them coming into the playoffs. Remember, the year before that was the COVID year where they lost a lot of players, and these players came back last year.
Yeah,
everyone expected them to go to the playoffs. That was one thing. You had all your defensive players coming back from the year before.
I did not expect them to go to the playoffs.
I remember the talk. The chatter was New England's going to be a team to look out for, especially when they got Mac Jones.
I mean, a sneaky team, but not no damn playoff team.
All right, so no disrespect to Bill Belichick, and I know he's been coaching a longer time than Mike Tomlin, but he does, and possibly will have 3 losing seasons, and he's been a head coach multiple times. This is Mike Tomlin's first time and been with the same team. You know, kudos to him, man. He picks the right coaches too. But here's the other thing. I had to look up, actually, before I make this statement, let me look up Mike Tomlin's coordinators.
Well, why you say that you bring that up? We got to mention, though, there is a chink to Tomlin's armor, and it's right now. You're seeing it. It's the offensive coordinator that he has in place. It's been for years that, moves had to be made. A lot of contention was about it, But again, he stuck with his guys. And you see, what was the one thing that we mentioned? The only issue with Pittsburgh is what? Their offense.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Let's see what the coaching tree is for Mike Tomlin.
It's bad when even Snoop Dogg is saying fire Matt Canada.
Matt Canada?
That's the offensive coordinator.
Mm-hmm.
All right. While I'm looking that up, though, I believe Mike Tomlin's former head coaches have had success at other places as coordinators.
Arians counts as a Tomlin hire because he was hit with bench for so long.
Ken Weisenhunt,
Frazier, maybe, if I'm not mistaken.
The thing with the whole Patriots coaching staff is they always try to be like Bill, though. That's what gets them lost in this league.
Is that their fault or is that Bill's fault?
It kind of is Bill's fault, but you can't blame Bill all the time for that because when someone tries to act like you and doesn't know the regime and how everything changes every year, that can't solely be your fault, like, every time.
I think when they have their coaches, speaking with respect to Bill Belichick, his coaching tree, they emulate the things that he does. They don't really look at what he's actually doing. They're not there seeing the work that he's putting in. They just emulate Bill Belichick. That's it. It's like if you're acting, you're trying to be Bill Belichick. That's what they're doing. They're not looking at the work he's doing, the scouting that he's doing, what he's doing for the draft. Because remember, Bill Belichick is basically the GM and coach of the New England Patriots. When you see Matt Patricia, when you see Josh Daniels, when you see Eric Mangini, they all didn't work out. Why? Because they only acted like Bill Belichick. They didn't put in the work that Bill Belichick did. That's the issue. And they were, for the most part, glorified coordinators because they were with Bill. Right now, you have Matt Patricia and who do we have here? Joe Judge. That's who's running the offense. That is a horrible decision. And we're talking about the best coach in NFL history just made that decision. Listen, you're hurting your stock, I think, for Bill Belichick right now. He's been hurting his stock since Tom Brady left.
So I did find a graphic for this. Let me throw this up on the screen. And Mike Tomlin hasn't had a lot of people that went out and coached other places as far as head coaching jobs. So I guess this is kind of skewed, but this is kind of incredible when we look at it. Bill O'Brien as a head coach was 52-48. Eric Mangini, 33-47. Romeo Crennel, 32-63. Jim Schwartz, 29-51. Brian Flores, 16-22. Still, Brian Flores is probably the best coach on as far as NFL coach on here. Nick Saban, when he was a head coach in the NFL, 15-17. Matt Patricia, but 13-29. Josh McDaniels, 11-17. Al Groh, 9-7. Joe Judge, 7-15. This was as October of 2021. And you can keep adding on to the loss total for Josh McDaniels right now. Bill O'Brien is not a head coach. Joe Judge is not a head coach anymore. So his numbers increase. But what we're trying to say at that point in time, his head coaching or his coaching tree was 217 and 217 wins, 316 losses.
Question.
Yeah.
I just have one question. Schwartz and Saban, specifically Schwartz. How is he counted as a Belichick hire? Because that was I think he was only running video. He was like a video guy with the Browns. That was it. He wasn't really a coordinator with the Browns. For Saban, he was a defensive back coach, but again, that was the Browns. That was a failed attempt. I don't know if you really consider him. I think
Jim Schwartz was a coach.
No, Jim Schwartz just ran video for them. That's all he did. He wasn't a coordinator or anything.
A head coach?
He was quality control.
Who, Jim Schwartz?
Jim Schwartz was quality control for the Browns. That was it. If anything, he's off.
No, he was a head coach. What you talking about?
No. Yes,
we're talking about with Belichick
specifically. He was a quality control with Belichick specifically. He was basically just watching video for him.
Doing research for Bill Belichick on the Cleveland staff in the mid 1990s. Schwartz served as Tennessee Titans defensive coordinator.
Yep.
Yeah.
He's a Titan guy.
Okay.
Those two are I think it's because of the names. Yeah, they were associated, but they're not really. So you got to take off Saban because, yeah, he is considered one of the greatest college coaches. I think that's why they always associate them to. But again, that was a failed attempt that they had in Cleveland. So I wouldn't consider anyone on that Cleveland roster then association off his tree, unless they went with him to New England.
I'm sorry, but never mind. We ain't going. I was going to get into a whole tangent about how I swear there's something fishy going on.
But the one thing I will say about this, though, if you look at them, it's Bill has, as a corner, you're doing a specific job, and that's it. You're not doing anything else but the specific job you have, because Bill is great at micromanaging the things that he needs micromanaged, and he can take care of the rest because he is a control freak. Let's be honest.
Yep.
And
Exactly.
he knows how to develop players too.
Yep, but he can't develop a coach for a darn because, again, it's you do this job and this job only. Be proficient at this. That's all I need you to do. I got the rest.
Right.
Yeah, you can't control him, or not control him, but you can't say it's his fault that other coaches wanted to be like him and they don't know how to follow the script. They just copy off of what they see and don't know the rest of what goes on.
When an opportunity is given to you and a contract is put in your face,
Yeah.
and this is your first time you want to be a head coach, you're going to take the opportunity. And if you only got it because you're associated to that man, they don't care. And that's what's been happening. The NFL doesn't really look at the talent that they have, what they've done in the past. They only see the success that the coach had, and can I get some of that?
Like, for example, Joe Judge. Like, he tried to do the whole thing with he tried to, get his players and his coaches to run laps in practice and stuff like that. Maybe he's seen Bill do that, and he doesn't know how to do it the right way.
Judge is just an idiot. Simple as that. He's just an idiot.
Honestly, the only coach on his tree that I thought that was decent and could have been a good head coach had he not been given general manager duties was Bill O'Brien. But again, he has an issue with his players. He's not more of a player's coach, but as a head coach, I thought he was decent. He was good with Houston.
Brian Flores
good with Penn State. Like, he has some success. It's just his attitude that has to change.
Yeah.
Flores wasn't that bad either.
No, he wasn't. He gets a bad rap because of everything that happened. Like, remember Brian Flores' first year with the Dolphins, and they were like, he's losing the locker room after like a couple weeks, and then they ended up being pretty good towards the end of the season, and then they had a 10-win season the next year when nobody expected that, and I mean that's when the format changed and they barely missed the playoffs, and then the following year, it's BS, man. Damn, they're looking at Barkley on the sideline. Yeah, the game right now is 20-13. Andy Reid's coaching tree is pretty good. Yeah, he's had some really good assistants. Like, But that's the stuff that should be looked at your legacy too. Like you bring up a good point, Vic. Like Jim Schwartz is a little. I don't know if you can add that one all the way on, but if you're talking maybe like him taking from the philosophy and just being around the guy, I guess if that counts. But I think more so like these guys on here that were actually coordinators with him need to be added, which I believe all these guys were at one point except for Jim Schwartz.
Well, for Schwartz, if you're going to associate him with anyone, it's going to be with Jim Washburn. That's where he learned his defensive scheme from. That's where he learned all that from. So he's a Jim Washburn elite, or how you say branch.
Yeah.
He liked the 4-man rush a lot, though. I think he
emulated Washburn's system.
Yeah.